Hey, this is Dustin Huff. I'm with Keystone Harbor Marina. We joined Thrive back in January and have been working with these guys for about 7 months. During that time period, we have moved up our Google rank through reviews and SEO processes that we've compiled through these guys. Our leads have gone from about 4 a week to now 165 a week. So the process works. I will tell you from experience, once you begin, you have to stay with it. As long as you continually do this week in and week out, month in and month out, you'll continually grow your reviews and you'll also continually grow your revenues. So it's important to stay with it. So this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. I would say stay with it. Google reviews are paramount and content is king. So as long as you stick with it, your revenue will grow and your business will grow. Thanks.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom, now we hit.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm a dive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we hit. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get.
Yes, and yes. Thrive Nation, on today's edition of the Thrive Time Show, I'm walking you through specifically how to move beyond perpetual distractions. And I'm going to take notes, and in the description of today's show, you can see the notes, you can reflect upon the notes, and I'm going to help you to move beyond distractions. If you have a company, if you're trying to grow a business, there are certain people, certain things, certain activities that will cause you to be perpetually distracted. So how to move beyond perpetual distractions? How do you move beyond perpetual distractions? And so I'm going to walk you through the moves that you can use that will help you move beyond perpetual distractions. So step 1, every day, you must design your day before you come in contact with other people. This is so important. I woke up today at 3, shocker, and I woke up at 3, and guess who called me at 3:05? Nobody. Guess who interrupted me and knocked on my door at 4? Nobody. Guess who had a burning fire, an urgent issue at 5? Nobody. Guess who had an emotional reason they couldn't come to work today at 5:06? Nobody. You see, because the jackassery and the perpetual distraction of reactive people doesn't typically start until they wake up. So pro tip number 1, every day you must design your day before you come in contact with other people. This is a big thing. This is a big move. This is a super move. Step number 2, you must create a daily to-do list. This is big. And you got to have a daily to-do. What am I saying, a daily to-do list? Well, like today, looking at my list here today, I've got to get in touch with a company that I'm working with. They basically sell meat. They sell meat. They're a client of mine. They sell a lot of meat, huge amounts of meat, and I have to get in touch with them today about launching their new advertisements. That's a thing. Also, I need to get in touch with Dr. Whitlock, a longtime client. He's having us basically work on his behalf to optimize his website, and I must reach him about certain things. Next, I've got to record a commercial. Yes, I have to record a new commercial for some of our upcoming workshops. Today, these are all things I have to do today. Today, I have to sign a contract for a venue that I'm renting for an upcoming conference that I'm doing. Yes. Also, I need to call Lisa today about the porta potties. Yeah, I need to call Lisa about the porta potties. Why? Well, because Lisa's helping me secure porta potties for an event, and I need to talk to her about the porta potties. Also today, these are all things I have to do today. I've got to fire somebody. What? I thought you were a good boss. Yeah, I have to fire someone today. Also on my list today, I need to get in touch with a guy about booking him on the show, on the podcast. Also today, I need to contact somebody. And I have a to-do list. I'm looking at my list right now. It's about 45 line items of things that I need to get done on my to-do list today. And so I'm going to get those things done. But again, step one, every day you must design your day before you come in contact with other people. Step two, you must create a daily to-do list. Step number three, you must block out time using a calendar. Now, this isn't like, deep stuff. We're not talking about black holes and dark matter and CERN, and we're not talking about the future of mRNA technology. What we're talking about is how to get more stuff done. And what I'm telling you, in a world of perpetual distractions, it's impossible to gain any traction if you don't choose to follow these super moves each and every day. So step one, every day you must design your day before you come in contact with other people. Step two, you must create a daily to-do list. Step three, you must block out time using a calendar. Step four, you must remove negative people and influences from your life. What am I saying? There are certain people in your life that every single day they have a dramatic situation. And I just dealt with this moments ago. Just moments ago, folks, we had someone in my office, shocking, in one of my companies, shocking, who had a burning fire. And you know what? This person has been on my payroll for a couple months, and I have discovered that they always have a burning fire. You know why? Because they show up to work late, because they don't write things down, because they're always overwhelmed. And even though their job is very simple and nobody else who's doing the exact same job as they're doing is having problems, they're always having problems. And why are they having problems? Because they always have problems, because that's the kind of person that they are. This is what they do. And I'm not sure why this person chooses to behave this way. I don't know. But I'm also not curious. In the Bible, it says, for a counsel, it tells you, the Bible tells you to walk with the wise, okay? It says, for a companion, I'll put the actual verse here for you. For a companion of fools shall suffer harm. That's in the Bible. And it doesn't exclude business relationships. It says, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. That's Proverbs 13:2. Proverbs 13:2. That's in the Bible. What? Proverbs 13:2. You're taking it out of context, buddy. Proverbs 13. Actually, it's Proverbs 13:20. Proverbs 13:20 from the Bible. It says here, he that walketh with the wise shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. And this just in, folks. There are a lot of people on this planet that are nefarious people. Now, I'm going to give you some statistics that don't necessarily relate to nefarious people, but they relate to, people that maybe shouldn't be giving you advice. Did you know that according to Inc. magazine, 96% of businesses fail? Did you know that? 96% of businesses fail according to Inc. magazine. Did you know that according to Inc. magazine, 85% of employees lie on resumes? 85% of employees lie on resumes. Did you know this? Think about it. What? Yes. Did you know that 75% of employees steal from the workplace, according to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce? 75%. What? Yes. Well, what kind of employees do you have? These are national statistics. Did you know that the majority of men admit to being unfaithful to their spouse? What? Yeah, these are real things. These are real stats. These are real things. And I really think it's important to understand these ideas, that what I'm saying to you is not, it shouldn't be shocking because we've all been on the planet for a while. But what's shocking to me is why certain people choose to continue to put up with the source of perpetual distractions and dysfunctions. There are certain people in your life that are going to always have a burning fire. They're always going to email you an urgent, massive email. They're always going to have a massive 2- and 3-page urgent burning fire, because that's what they are. That's who they are. They are an urgent burning fire. And so, just as I was telling you moments ago, we had an employee that continues to demonstrate jackassery of the highest order. I'm not going to keep them on my payroll. It's not going to happen. So you must remove negative people and influences from your life. And step 5, you must create a no-go zone. A no-go zone. So the other day, a very successful client of mine says to me, hey, I am going to be traveling, and I would like to invite you to go with me. And I'm going, where do you want to go? And they said, well, I'm going on this this trip to this exotic place, and I would love to take you with me on said trip. And I said no. And do you know why I said no? Because this person always has life issues. And I don't want to have life issues. And so because I am saying no to this person, I am avoiding said life issues. You know, there's a reason why I don't go out with other men or women to a bar, because I'm not going to have life issues. I'm just not going to have these kinds of life issues in my life. I'm not going to. And it's my no-go zone. You know, I also don't go out to lunch with people. What? I don't do lunch. I'll do coffee, but I won't do lunch. Well, why? Because it's my no-go zone. I know it's a waste of my time. I also, when possible, I don't travel. What? Yeah, when possible, I don't travel. Because it's also an epic waste of my time. And so you need to define your own no-go zone. I don't go on social media and read people's comments. Why? Because it's in my no-go zone. And I'm suggesting to you today need to have a no-go zone. Think about, the average person, according to Nielsen right now, is spending over 11 hours per day consuming social media. Look that up. According to Nielsen, the average person is spending over 11 hours a day consuming social media. And I'm not. Why? Because it's in my no-go zone. So again, if you want to move beyond perpetual distractions, if you want to learn how to move beyond perpetual distractions and how to gain massive traction, you need to listen to the rest of today's podcast as I walk you through the art of getting things done.
And now, broadcasting from the center of the universe and the Thrive15.com world headquarters.
Let's go!
Presenting the world's only business school without the BS, with optometrist and entrepreneur Dr. Robert Zellner, and the former Small Business Administration Entrepreneur of the Year in your ear, Clay Clark. It's the Thrive Time Show on Talk Radio 1170. 3, 2,
Oh, Thrive Nation, welcome back to your favorite radio show. It is the Thrive Time Show on your radio. If you've never heard the show before, what we try to do is to provide you business school without the BS. Our whole thing is we want to teach you the specific moves that you can use to improve the quality of your life, to make more money, to make more time freedom. And I'm always excited because on the show, we have the honor to be joined with the man, the myth, the optometrist who's been helping Tulsa see 20/20 for over now 25 years, almost 26 years, Dr. Robert Zellner. Sir, how are you?
I am fantastic, except I had kind of a tough weekend.
You had a tough weekend?
Yeah, kind of a little tough weekend. I haven't really talked about it yet, and I felt like today's show I was going to kind of air a grievance, but then I also kind of have a happy ending to the story.
So you had a grievance and you had an issue. You had a conundrum.
Yes, in Oklahoma, we have a Class A horse track called Remington Park in Oklahoma City.
Right.
And on Friday night, last Friday, we had what we call the Oklahoma Classics. And that's like the Breeders' Cup for the nation. In other words, it's the best Oklahoma-bred horses running on 8 races, and then they have a couple of others, so 10 technically, I guess. And it's over $1 million in purses. It's the biggest day for horse racing in Oklahoma. And I had a couple of horses running, and one was a favorite, one was like the second favorite, and they both ran not very well.
Really?
Were you
not feeding them well? Were you
keeping
them up late at night? What were you doing? Did you screw it up?
I gave them the pep talk. I said all the right things. They came into the race in good form, and they just laid an egg.
Really?
And I guess sometimes in life, you think you do everything right.
Right.
You think you're doing all the right moves.
All the right moves.
All the right moves.
Moves like Jagger.
And then all of a sudden, one day in your life, you look up and you're like, I just laid a big egg.
Did you have a bunch of friends there? And did you have kind of a, I know typically you run out when you
An
go to these events,
entourage,
you have
yes.
an entourage of
Yes.
15 to 20.
Yes.
They're people who normally would work with Mayweather, but you'll hire them for the night to follow you around.
Yeah,
to kind of
I could try to get Jamie Foxx to follow me around and be
Right.
my paparazzi. You know,
Right.
that move that he did back in the day, and he was busy. But, no, yeah, we get the limo bus, we load up, and we drive down there. We have the suite. I mean,
Yeah, the
everybody's
suite.
everybody's having a good time. You're having a beverage of your choice.
Right,
There's
of your choice,
A
yeah.
full buffet, all you can eat.
So when your horse finishes not first, not second, not really just we don't even talk about it. Is the move to order free drinks for all of your buddies so no one remembers what happened, or do you just say we move on? Do you have kind of do you say, does it create that tension where you're in the car, where mom and dad are fighting and it's just quiet and silence?
Well,
I mean, what is the move?
It's kind of funny because sometimes, in every group every year, there's a novice or two in the group. And so they look at you and they go,
What happened?
What
happened?
happened? You were the favorite.
This seemed
How did
awesome.
you not? You're just like, oh, then you got to explain everything to someone.
When
you're
you
like,
finished way back at the end, does that mean you lost, or does that mean that you're still? I mean, how do you determine winners?
I don't. Can they run it again? What happened?
Can they
Is
do
that-
it? It's okay.
Was that fair?
It's
What's-
okay. We can do it again, right?
But then, to the silver lining on that cloud of horse racing in
Yes.
my life is I had a very good friend call me today and said, "Hey, I've got one slot open. I've got a table. I've got a house on the beach.
Oh, come on.
The Breeders' Cup is going to be at Del Mar, which I've never been to
Oh.
the track. They call it where the surf meets the turf. It's by San Diego. It's beautiful, beautiful weather.
With the Red Roof Hotel. I've spoken there.
Oh.
The Red Hotel.
Oh, okay.
In San Diego. I've been there. My wife is from San Diego. This is a place I've been.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yes.
Well, then you could give me some hot spots to go to, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So anyway, he invited me with a couple of his buddies, and so I was like, absolutely. It's
Absolutely.
a bucket list. So then, horse race, I'm like, oh man, it's so tough.
Did you go, or are you going?
I'm going. I'm going in a week, 2 weeks.
Really?
For the Breeders' Cup. The Breeders' Cup is actually for the whole nation. I mean,
Well-
horses can be born anywhere in the world, actually, and the best of the best come in for these races, and they are the biggest of the big.
Well, here's the thing: is you probably won't have time to go. That's probably the issue. You probably don't have time. You probably have the opportunity. You probably have the financial freedom, but you probably don't have time. No, wait a minute. You do have time, and why do you have time? It's because these 66 super moves that we're going to be going over the next 6.5 days, next 7 days. We're going to go through the super moves that you use on a daily basis to allow you to free up the time that you need to get stuff done. I am super excited to hear these moves.
I am too, and we're going to deep dive into them, and we're going to have fun with them. But you know what, Clay? This was one of those kind of events that, when he called and invited me, we talked about it before, and I wasn't sure I was going to be the fourth amigo on the trip, And so he
Fourth
called up
amigo.
and said, "Hey, you get the nod," and I'm like, "Absolutely." He said, "Well, check your schedule." And I wanted to say, "Well, this is kind of one of those things that whatever's on my schedule, I'm still going to go." You know what I mean?
Right.
There's those events in life, and what could someone call up to you, Clay, and say, "Hey, you have the opportunity to do fill in the blank," and you would say, "It doesn't really matter what I have scheduled that day. I'm going to do it."
Behind the scenes tour of how Quick Trip works.
Behind the scenes tour of how Quick Trip works.
Yeah, I got a behind the scenes tour years
Okay.
ago of how Hobby Lobby works. Got a chance
yeah.
to meet the founder of
Yeah,
Hobby Lobby. Spent a whole day with him.
Yeah.
And I canceled everything to go see it. I love workflows. I love systems. And I'd say the other one would be meeting Bill Belichick.
What about Tom? I figured Tom Brady would be the first thing out of your mouth.
I
To be
love
honest.
Tom Brady, but I love Bill Belichick because he is the master.
He's the master.
You understand, he's won Super Bowls previous to Tom Brady, okay, when he was an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. The guy, he understands football. And even the year that Tom Brady was gone, they had a successful season with the guy who never played a down of college football. That was the guy that the Chiefs ended up signing. His name was Matt Castle.
Matt Castle, yeah.
They actually had like 11-5 that year or something like that. And it's just like it's up next. The system is impenetrable.
Do you think you could take any starting quarterback in the NFL right now? You got to be pretty good to be a starting quarterback. I know some are better than others. Do you think you could take any starting quarterback and put him on the Patriots and go win the Super Bowl this year?
Yes. And as an example, Jacoby Brissett is not a starter. He was a backup last year.
Yeah.
And so last year they had Garoppolo, who was filling in for Brady.
Garoppolo.
And they're thinking, Garoppolo, this guy's the chosen one. He's got a fever. Man, this guy, and the only cure is more victories. So he's out there winning, and they're like, man, Garoppolo's the next one. Maybe he'll replace Brady someday. Well, he gets hurt. So then they're like, okay, now we're on to
Next
the
up.
third string. I mean, most teams have never met the third string guy.
Did they have that?
And Jacoby Brissett, they're like, you get in there. And they won with him. They could just win with any offense. It doesn't matter. I mean, this week they kept giving the ball to Burkhead. Burkhead, are you kidding me? Burkhead? They were giving the ball to Burkhead. They're giving the ball to people you've never heard of before. Everybody who signs with the Patriots just becomes that much better. It's awesome.
It really is an incredible story. So Belichick, behind the scenes tours, a quick trip. Those would be the things that would say, no matter what's going on.
Yeah, that would
your child's graduation, you're going to go see Belichick.
Yeah, well, I think at child's graduation, you have to put that above that. But since we homeschool, I would schedule it at different days. All right. Now, so here are these super moves for the art of getting things done. So many people say, I don't have time to get things done. So I'm going to teach you the moves one by one. There's 66 of them. We're going to go over the next 7 days with you. So move number one, you've got to schedule an hour a day of meta time. You might call it prayer time. You might call it planning time. I don't care what you call it. You have to do it. You got to schedule an hour a day of meta time if you are ambitious. Now, Benjamin Franklin, the inventor of the skullet, the man who also was one of the first postmasters, the guy who is credited as being the original author of the U.S. Constitution, a guy who invented the Franklin stove, bifocals. He did some things. He says, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So, Dr. Z, I want to
say
ask...
that again. That's pretty profound.
He says by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So I want to ask you, what's something on your list today that you definitely have committed to doing? Like you said, hey, you know what? I don't have a ton of things I have to get done today, but this will for sure happen before the end of the day. Is there something on your list like that today?
Yes, there is, actually. Book a flight to San Diego for the Breeders' Cup. I'm so excited.
Now, the next thing is, when do you plan out your day now? And when you were in the trenches starting your first business, when did you plan time? When was your planning time then?
Back in the day when I was just, I was working in the business all day long. I mean, all day long working in the business is tough because, so many times people say, well, I can't work on my business because I'm working in my business. So then you have to, I had to do time that I was not open for business.
Oh.
Shocking, huh?
Shocking.
And mine was always in the evenings. You do the dinner thing with the family, and then you put the kids to bed. You got to read the story. You got to, do your snuggle time. You got to do all that dad stuff that you do, all the moves that dad has to do, right?
And then at midnight, you're just slamming a pot of coffee and doing it?
Oh, man. Boom. Yeah, I was more of a night owl.
What time would you do that? Seriously?
Well, I would probably do that from, say, like 10 o'clock to midnight. That's kind of was
10
kind
to
of my
midnight?
move. Yeah, and I try to get to bed by midnight.
So many entrepreneurs, they say, I just don't have time for planning time.
Yeah, and that's crazy, isn't it? Because you're kind of like, well, and then you look at me and go, well, we got to plan time for you to plan things. It sounds a little...
Lee Cockrell, who's one of our partners and the guy who's the former executive vice president of Walt Disney World, he used to manage 40,000 team members. He says, what gets scheduled gets done. So if you were talking to somebody and they said, just give it to me straight, shoot me straight. You don't have to be nice. This is not a radio show. This is you talking to me one-on-one. I don't have time to plan my schedule. You don't understand. I don't have time. What would you say?
Well, then you know what? You're never going to get anything done. Now, the question is, here's the conundrum. Do you want to get stuff done? Because if you don't, then continue on. You've got the perfect system for not getting things done, and I think that's why
the perfect system for not getting things done.
We and that's why I think we have this horrible number which we're trying to eradicate, according to Forbes, which is kind of our
out of 10
businesses fail.
Oh,
I mean, think about that, 80%. I mean,
well, that's a good thing in the hair industry because they keep going out of business and we keep growing.
I guess if they're competitors of yours, you don't get too big of a teary eye. But
other optometrists wrap it up, or are you like, well,
how much dreams and money and desires and planning and time and just effort went into opening those businesses, and then they fail. It's sad, and we have a heart to keep those businesses open,
except for hair businesses. If you have a hair business in Tulsa, I would just say, fold it up. It's probably not going to work out.
Where'd they cut women's hair?
Women's hair, I have a heart for you. I want you to find the time to plan. But if you're listening right now and you're a man and you have a men's grooming business and you're not the elephant in the room, I would say to you, you don't have time to plan. It's not possible. Your life is immensely complicated. Think about the thousands of hairs you have to cut today, and I want you to think about each one of those hairs and don't ever make time to plan.
Clay, I want to ask you a question, though. You only have a couple of them in town. What, 3 of them?
3, yeah.
You couldn't cut every man's hair in town.
Well,
you've got to have a little brother out there doing all the the guys that don't want the fine experience that they get.
I use hologram technology. And so I just have a hologram that's very accurate.
No, I mean, you're kind of capped. I mean, how many people can you? What's your limit on those things? A couple thousand people each?
Right now, I think we're basically near about 4,000 members, give or take. And we're just booked out. And so we're going to open up 2 more locations here, 2 more in Tulsa. I think Tulsa can handle 2 more. And then we have commitments to open up 2 in Boise, Idaho, and 1 in Louisiana and 1 in Dallas.
The ones in Boise, are you going to have like blue turf in those?
Yeah, it's all.
Isn't that the move up? Is that the word they have the blue turf on the football?
Well, it's all blue turf, and then all we do the audio overhead. Instead of having music, we just keep playing the audio of Boise beating OU, and the announcer talking about how they just can't believe it. That's what's going to happen. That's the Boise.
Oh, I'm
thing.
sorry I brought that up. That's a horrible memory.
Now, move number 2, we're going to talk about when we come back, is you've got to decide what you're going to say no to. You got to ask yourself, what are you going to say no to?
That's just mean.
And you know what we're going to do?
No is such a mean word.
We're going to bring in a guy who very well could possibly be the new governor for the state of Oklahoma, Kevin Stitt, as a guest. Now, we're not going to get political, Z. We're not going to be talking about
he's
political
built
topics.
a wonderful business, and I'm excited to pick his brain and find out the secrets.
So when I bring up politics, you just tell me no.
Okay.
It's all about time management.
No.
So when I start getting into his deep political views, you shut me down. Stay tuned. It's the Thrive Time Show on your radio. We're talking about the art of getting things done. Stay tuned. All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the conversation. For all of those who might have had a losing weekend at the horse track, we apologize.
Hey.
We know it's been a tough weekend. We apologize that all the preparation, all the horse food, all the horse tranquilizers, all the training, and even the jockeys just basically living off a starvation diet. All did not culminate in a victory. So if that's you, if you've been impacted deeply by a poor performance at the horse track, we want to say we're sorry, and specifically, Z, since we're talking about you, we don't want to be passive aggressive. I'm sorry.
I just felt like I was verbally throat punched right then.
I'm sorry.
My throat was a little sore. I felt like you didn't throat punch me physically, but verbally, I just got accosted.
Normally it's ecstasy when you're next to me, but right now it feels like there's
something in between us?
Kind of a downer. Something in between us. Well, there's something great in between us, but there's just a downer around you, kind of so I had to bring in somebody into the box that rocks today who can lift up maybe not only this broadcast, but the entire state. Somebody who can rise the tide. Somebody who can totally change the mindset of potentially Oklahoma. We have a guy who's running for governor of Oklahoma on the show. And Z, apparently you know this guy. Do you know this guy?
I've had the privilege of meeting this young man a few times and listening to his story. I'm excited about. He's built a wonderful business. And that's really the core why we have him on here, because we love highlighting successful local business people that have done it and then get them on and then trick them into having them tell their secrets.
And so we have Kevin Stitt on the show. Kevin, how are you, my friend?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Well, hey, we're talking about today how to get stuff done, and we're teaching the 66 super moves that the Thrivers can use over the next 7 shows to free up more time in their schedule. And our next move is purposefully determining what you're going to say no to. Everyone has to be intentional about what kind of things you're going to say no to. And you have a successful company. That's kind of your path to get here. So I want to ask you, what's your story? How did you first get into business here in Tulsa? And then what kind of things are you having to kind of learn to say no to now that you're running for governor and running a business? I mean, it's got to be some trade-offs. So let's start with your story. How did you get started in business here in Tulsa?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I grew up in Norman, Oklahoma, and my dad was a pastor there, and went to school in Stillwater, went to Oklahoma State, got an accounting degree. Then moved to Tulsa, met my wife, Sarah. We've been married 19 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We have 6 children.
6?
6.
Wow.
Are you Mormon? No?
Did you not have cable TV?
No, just really like my wife, I guess. I don't know.
Great. Okay, Nate, I'm sorry. I have 5 kids, so
Yeah. Wow.
anytime that I find someone has more than me, I question their sanity.
Yes,
So
well,
you sound like you're passing the test. So
it is. It's tough. There's. You can certainly be praying for my wife during this journey. So she's got a tough job. But anyway, they're 17 is our oldest, down to 3 is the youngest. 3 boys and 3 girls. So really busy around the house. And then I got into the mortgage business shortly after college when I moved to Tulsa. And then in January of 2000, with $1,000 in a computer, I started my company, Gateway Mortgage Group. And today we have over 1,100 employees. We have about 155 offices in 40 states. We have a division that buys loans from banks and credit unions. If you've ever had your home loan sold, that's where we come in. And then we service everything. So you're a customer for life with us, and we service all of our home loans.
So everybody listening out there right now, you may be driving to lunch. You could be unwrapping your tuna sandwich right now. You could be getting ready to go, trying to figure out where you're going to go to lunch.
Could be waking up under a bridge.
You could be or listening to the podcast meeting or anywhere in the world at any time. But how many of you out there right now have a computer? You raise your hand.
I have a computer.
I'm seeing hands go up all around. I'm seeing hands everywhere.
I got my computer.
And how many of you have access to $1,000?
Well, my buddy Raymond, I have his card.
I got an uncle. I think I could get shake him down for $1,000.
Yeah.
And this guy, that's all he had to start with. And now he's got how many? 1,100. How many employees did you say again, Kevin?
Yeah, well, I think we're about 1,150 right now.
Wow, 1,150 employees.
Wow.
And how many offices around the country?
155 offices. We do business in 40 states.
Unbelievable. Now that's a success story I want to tap into and figure out the secret sauce. I mean, that didn't happen overnight. I mean, now you get to celebrate the big buildings. I saw. Matter of fact, I met you at one of your new beautiful buildings out in Jinx, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, you just built that.
Office.
Yeah, as you go up Highway 75. Have you seen that, Clay? The new Gateway Mortgage Building there?
Yeah, I never go outside. You know, I mean, I'm always
That's
in
true.
the box that rocks
That's
or in
true.
my bunker, and so I have not seen it. And it's not because it's not a great building. It's because I really have no data points outside of this show. You guys are the first people I've seen this month.
Oh, so Kevin, when you started off, you've got your computer, $1,000. How long did it take before you thought to yourself, I think I'm going to make it?
Well, you know, I think you have to have a belief in yourself, and I've made a lot of mistakes over the years, but I really believe people just give up a little too early. So before the crash, 2006, 2007, I was hating life. I wanted to quit my own company 1,000 times. But you just keep going, you keep focusing on taking care of your employees, taking care of your customers, and I just say to myself, it's not over until we win. It's not over until I win.
There you go.
You just keep going.
Now, anybody who's built a successful business has to, at some point, learn effective time management. Because eventually, whether you're in my case, where you start a business out of your dorm room, or in your case, you start a business, or Z's case, all of a sudden you have more customers than time. And you start to realize you're going to have to make some trade-offs. And so move number 2 is you want to purposefully decide on what and who you're going to say no to. You know, Steve Jobs once said, people think focus means saying yes to the thing you've got to focus on, in this case, governor. But that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to 100 other good ideas. Mayor, you have to pick carefully. I'm actually as proud of the things we haven't done as the things I have done. Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. So what kind of things are you having to say no to now in your race to help improve Oklahoma and to make it more business friendly for entrepreneurs like myself and Dr. Z?
Yeah. So I think you're exactly right. And I say it this way, too. I mean, there's something like 5 million companies in the U.S., I may have the numbers off, that have 0 to 9 employees. And then there's like 19,000 companies that have over 500 employees. So it's usually not the CEO or the entrepreneur that starts the company that that keeps morphing and becomes the guy that's still leading the company with 1,100 employees. So you have to be kind of team approach, and you say it like you've got to learn how to say no to certain things. You've got to be able to attract the right team around you. And you can't be the same guy that charges the hill all the time when you have 9 employees you're first starting out.
What is, if somebody is listening right now and they say, okay, I feel like I am the guy who charges the hill. I'm the guy who leads the path. I've always been that trailblazer. When you say you can't be that guy anymore, what does that mean?
You know, to me, I mean, obviously, as the entrepreneur and the guy that starts the business, we all feel like we can do the job better than others, right?
Right.
But to grow where you need to grow, you've got to learn to train. You've got to learn to hire the right people. You got to empower those guys. You got to bite your tongue sometimes, let people make mistakes, and be more team focused, right? To ever get to where you want to go, and I think most of us want to continue to grow and we want to get better. You've got to learn to give up a little bit of that control, train the right people, and empower those guys to make the right decisions.
Now, Z, as you have built your businesses, you've obviously had to say no to some things. I'd like to talk about it a little bit when we come back from the break. I want to hear from you. What are the things that you say no to on a daily basis that most people say yes to? Because I watch you make these little decisions all the time. They're kind of like principles, I think, where you don't even question the validity of even saying yes to it sometimes because it's so firmly planted in your brain that you're going to say no to those kind of things. But I want to get your feedback, Z, on what you specifically say no to. And Z, it's not a political show, but you cannot dodge the questions.
Huh? What?
What? All right, so my good friend Dr. Z is going to break down what he says no to. If you haven't checked him out yet, Google search Kevin Stitt. He may be the next governor. Stay tuned. It's the Thrive Time Show on your radio.
Welcome to the Thrive Time Show, a show for the enemies of average.
You know, people are not born with big thighs. You know, you're born a flabby little lazy baby. You know, it takes work to look like this.
Oh, Z, do you remember Hans and Franz? Do you remember the glory of Hans and Franz?
Dude, that was like part of my growing up. That was like, if you didn't watch Saturday Night Live as a kid, because on Monday, when the conversation at school turned to Saturday Night Live, what happened, 2 days before, and you weren't up on it. You just got ostracized. You had to go to timeout. I mean, you were
when they stopped being on the show, my quality of life went down by about 2%. If I had to track it, statistically, about 2%.
Yeah.
And so I thought we'd bring a guy on the show today, Kevin Stitt, who wants to be the next governor of Oklahoma, and and I think he's trying to improve the quality of life in Oklahoma by at least 3%, which would negate the 2% I lost, thus leaving me a total positive game of 1%. If you're following the math at home, but
wow.
But Z, you've got some hard-hitting questions for Mr. Kevin Stitt, so I'm going to pass the microphone over to you.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say no to answering your question you asked me, Clay, because we only have Kevin for a little bit longer. Okay, you and I are going to. He's going to leave us.
Why?
He's got important things he's got to go do.
Okay, fine.
And
fine.
so he's going to leave here pretty soon. So I want to get to him, focus on him a little bit, and then I will circle back and tell you all the things I say no to.
I'll be over here.
All right. So Kevin, I mean, you obviously have a very successful business. You've been an entrepreneur, obviously with much success. And now, why would you want to? It's an easy street, right? You got time freedom. I mean, you're obviously making some money. I mean, you're loving life. You got your 6 kids. You got your beautiful wife. I mean, you got the dream life. Why on earth would you want to step into the slam bam world of politics and run for a public office? What are you thinking?
Well, it is hard. They certainly don't give this thing away. You got to work your tail off for it. But I'm really concerned about our state. I travel to Texas, South Carolina, Tennessee, Colorado, all the states that we have offices, and I'm seeing tremendous momentum in these other states around us. The economy's booming, the jobs, the growth, and then I come back to Oklahoma, the state that I love, that I'm raising my family and growing my company. And we're just a little bit down in the dumps. We had a negative 3% growth last year. They're going to 4-day school weeks trying to save money in the school system. And we have $1 billion budget deficit. And and then I look at who's running for governor, and to me, it's just more of the same. It's just the career politicians running for their next election. I truly believe we're going to be in the same situation talking about the same issues 8 years from now if we keep electing the same guys. So I want to take off from my company, go serve my state, get us growing again. And so I'm just a huge growth guy, and I want to see us, doing better.
Now, Z, I noticed you got your one light bulb out. You've got your waterboarding kit out. Look like you're going to interrogate the man here. What are your next hard-hitting questions here for Mr. Stitt?
Well, you kind of bullet point some stuff. I mean, obviously you've been thinking about this for a while, and you obviously been deep diving into some of the problems that our state is encountering. You just mentioned a couple of them right there. So how are you going to? What are some answers? What are you going to do?
So to me, it's just leadership. I'm so much different than the career politicians in the race. I'm the only guy with the outside experience that's created 1,100 jobs, and so I'm going to bring the private experience that I've created over the last 17 years. We have 5 pillars that we grow our company with, and
okay.
I think of the same thing at the state level. You need a growth pillar, you need education, infrastructure, health, and efficiencies. We could talk about each one of those, and those never change. You always have to have an initiative on growth and education. But let's talk about education for a second. We are 49th in the nation in teacher pay.
Oh, man.
We're moving up.
So you're saying we're not last.
That's right. That's right.
This is encouraging.
And but if I want to recruit the best jobs and I want the best companies moving here, we've got to have the best schools. And if I want the best schools, I've got to pay competitive wages to the teachers. And I kind of look at it like this. If I hired underwriters at my company and paid them $10,000 less than the market demanded, I would get the worst underwriters. Eventually, I'd have high delinquency. Eventually, I'd go out of business. So I look at stuff in kind of a 6-state footprint around Oklahoma, And we've got to pay what Kansas, Texas, Arkansas, kind of what the average is around Oklahoma.
And how much more is that than we're paying currently? Have you done the math on that?
Yeah.
Now you got me just kind of curious.
Yeah, it's about $10,000.
Oh, okay. So the analogy you used was about 10,000 on there. Okay. Well, what's some other bullet point things? I mean, where else are we missing the ball? I mean, where else can we do better as a state?
You know, we have about we spend $22 billion in our state. Okay, so that's our budget.
Okay.
You only hear about $6.5 billion. So that's the only thing that gets appropriated by the state legislatures. And so we have to figure out a way to give them more ability to control more of the budget instead of just this ear-tagged money that gets passed through. So we've got to give them more control over that. We need line item budgeting. We need performance audits in every single different agencies. I have 15 different cost centers at my company, and I could go through exactly how we do it. But when we build budgets for the following year, I break every cost center down to a number. And bigger budgets aren't always necessarily better outcomes. So we need to focus on efficiencies across all the different government agencies. And as a conservative, I need to get the government regulation more out of the lives of businesses and entrepreneurs and let them grow and let the free market expand.
Now, Z, I've got. I think a lot of people are listening to today's show, and they say, you know what, I want to learn more about this guy. I want to do my research. So, Kevin, I want to ask you, what's your website? How can people get a hold of you? And if somebody maybe wants to get involved or hear you speak again, or how do people get involved?
Absolutely. So you can go to stitforgovernor.com. You can like us on Facebook at Stit for Governor. And we've got an app. You can go download the app from the App Store, and then it's got our schedule in there. It has how to get involved. You can tell us if you want to we will help us work on policy, because I think that we have smart people in our state, like you two guys and your listeners and entrepreneurs, and I want to try to invite the private sector to come solve our problems, whether it's in the healthcare or it's in the growth column, or it's in education. I've been doing different policy deals, so I'm going to be kind of bringing a private sector approach, and I think that's the way our forefathers intended it. They didn't want you to be a career politician. They wanted you to take off from your farm or business, temporarily go serve your state. That's the kind of governor I want to be. I want to be focused more on the next generation without regard to the next election.
Now, if someone's listening here today and you're saying, man, I really want to know more about this guy. Again, he's giving you his website, but I'm going to ask some questions that I think that the everyman wants to ask you right now.
Okay.
I think a lot of people say, you know what, government, they just waste so much money on A, B, C, and then we want to pay them more. See, this, and I see a lot of people who say, I see the government wasting money on A, B, and C, these different areas. And then this guy's on the show wanting to talk about, maybe paying people more. So can you talk to me about maybe some things where you feel like government's spending too much money on? Because I totally hear your heart here. I just want to ask the rude question on behalf of the listener who's going, this guy wants to spend more money.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. We are losing the marketing battle. I talk to the reason that the teacher pay, to me, it's not necessarily more money, it's just market. So I talk to CEOs everywhere, and they're having trouble recruiting businesses. If we don't have the best schools here, where do we start, right? So the first thing a CEO that's looking for their family, they're Googling education, and they're seeing that we're 49th in the nation, and we've got to fix that. And to me, it's just kind of a simple deal. You look at private sector stuff. If you want to hire the best people here, you've got to pay them competitive salaries. So, but are we, there's a lot of reform. Yes. I mean, what drives me crazy when I look at Common Ed, then we have career techs, then we have a higher education system. Nobody comprehensively is looking structurally at how we set that whole thing up. Nobody is a governor that's thinking about what's best for all 4 million Oklahomans. Too often, it's based on. Is that my time to shut up?
Well, no.
That's our wind down for the segment.
It's my time to say this. If you are listening today and you are looking for maybe the next governor, you're trying to figure out who should I vote for, I would submit to you it's very hard to grow a successful business. And if somebody's done it, maybe they deserve at least consideration, especially on the Thrive Time Business Coach radio show. My name's Clay Clark. I'm a business owner. I advise you to check out Mr. Stitt's website.
Back to the Business Coach radio show. That is so good, it could have made the Eastland Mall successful.
Oh, man. I don't know whether we could have made Eastland Mall successful. What happened to that thing? See, I mean, if you had to do a deep dive into what happened to Eastland Mall, do you have? I mean, because I was too young to know why it wasn't working. I just noticed that when I went down to that Chick-fil-A, it was like, hey, Mom, let's go to Chick-fil-A, and just echo because there's no one else there.
No one else. I think they turned it in now to a business park. So it's
call
kind of like a call center business, and it's successful in a different chapter of its life, I guess you could say, right?
Okay.
I mean,
it's a mall though. What happened to that thing?
Well, I think it bad placement, perhaps, and then number two, they didn't, I think, get the big anchors that they needed. You got to get the big anchors.
You got the big anchors,
and they couldn't compete with the other malls, and maybe it was an extra mall too much.
I think you're to blame. I think a lot of people are going to Dr. Zellner and Associates over there by the mall at 65th and Memorial to go over there to get themselves a stylish pair of glasses.
I pulled everybody to Woodland Hills Mall.
There's thousands of people being pulled. Woodland Hills Mall benefited.
You're probably right.
Riding your coattails in the wake of your marketing glory.
Oh, we've got an hour to wait for our glasses. Where do we go? Well, let's go to the mall.
You killed Eastland Mall.
I probably did.
Okay, so now we're talking today about effective time management, the art of getting things done. And move number 2 is you have to purposefully decide on what you're going to say no to. And I want to ask you, on a daily basis, what are some things that you just say no to on principle almost all the time without even thinking about it? It's now your new automatic. You're just constantly saying no to it.
Well, I've had my cell phone number. I'm old enough, Clay, that I remember back in the day.
Back in the day.
Your cell phone was kind of like a personal number.
Yeah, you never gave it out.
I mean, it was like, that's my private number.
Yeah, you don't come in.
I mean, you just didn't automatically reach out to people on their cell phone.
Well, this is how you would say. You'd say, "Girl, I tell you what, I'll give you my cell phone." And she would say, "Really?" Or you'd say, "Girl, can I get your cell phone?" And she'd say, "Yeah, but don't call it unless it's at night because I got 300 minutes."
Stop.
That's what it was.
That's what it was. Not really. But the point I'm trying to make is that if someone calls me and their name isn't programmed in my phone,
yes,
in other words, I really don't know that person, then I don't answer. I say no to the call. I say no.
And not only
that's
that,
an easy
but
no,
you
but
actually,
I say no.
if somebody does call you, I'm just giving an example. If somebody does call you and somehow you called them and you know that you never want to speak to them again, you won't enter them in as a contact. Therefore, if they call again, you won't get the phone.
Bingo. Or you put on there, you put a bit of Billy, do not answer,
Right.
You program an answer, you're like,
you do it. You're so good at this. You're the master. That's
an easy one. You're actually not, you're saying no, but you're really not saying no. Now, the hard one is that whenever you start to get busy, and before you would say yes to everything.
Right, absolutely. You're a yes man.
Yes. Because you want to be liked and you want to do things and you want to help people and you want to do all those things. And then pretty soon you're kind of like, hey man, can I pick your ear? Can I have some time? And that's what people want more than anything. They want that time. And so if you say to yourself, we're all about time management today, and part of it is if you want more time, then you have to then take control of what you're doing in that time. And saying no, people want to have a meeting with you.
Oh, yeah.
How many times you get asked in a day, Clay, or how many times back in the day were you asked, hey, man, can I have some of your time?
I think right now there's probably 3 to 5 people a day that will email of some kind saying, hey, can I pick your brain? And and that's why we started Thrive, was to help entrepreneurs who wanted to grow a business and give them specific training, but in a scalable way. Because for you, it's probably a magnitude of 10 times that. But for me, I get probably 5 to 10 people a day, it seems like they'll email in going, hey, I want to pick your brain, or they'll shoot me a LinkedIn message, or they'll say, hey, I hear you guys are opting at the Riverwalk. I wanted to see if you wanted to network, or there's just a lot of that kind of stuff, And the reality is that I have the maturity now of thought to realize that if I'm going to say yes to the networking, I have to tell my wife I'm not going to be home on time. Or I have to tell my kids I can't be at the thing. Or there's some trade-off that has to happen if I am to say yes. And so for a long time, I would say yes, and then I would end up not being available for family time, and I wasn't able to emotionally or mentally make that understanding that saying yes to something requires you to say no to something else.
You're right, and that's one of the questions that I get brought up a lot. Young entrepreneurs or people that are young in business come to me and they say, man, how do you know how to balance that? How do you know when to start saying no?
Right.
How do you know to be home more? To be, because most people that start a business love what they're doing.
They love it. They're into it.
They love it.
They're feeling it.
It fires them up.
Woo!
I mean, woo! There's dopamine going in the brain.
Yeah,
I love this.
I'm training dogs.
I love making widgets.
I'm a
I love baking
expert.
cookies.
Oh,
whatever they're doing. Yeah, cutting hair.
Cutting hair.
Oh, it's the best.
Oh, cut it now.
And so then all of a sudden they look up and the day's gone and they've had a great day and they've connected and they've had a super super day. Then all of a sudden they get home and they've got a
Please.
and their spouse is looking at them with that look like, really,
Baby, please let me leave and go cut some more hair. Please.
Really?
Just
Really?
one more. Just one more mop.
Really?
I want to cut one more mop.
Really, you're home at this time. And so what I tell them is this: is that your spouse and your family, i.e., children, if you're blessed enough to have them. Will let you know when they need more time with you. They'll be like, okay, I can stay out in the doghouse, or maybe I can not cut two people's hairs today. You know,
you realize that the conversations you have with dogs aren't as stimulating as that with humans, and you realize it's time maybe to make some changes.
Yeah, no, but the dogs never. I mean,
now move number 3: don't allow your smartphone to make you dumb. Don't allow your smartphone to make you dumb. Now, here's a notable quotable from Psychology Today. I love this. I love this article called "Is Your Smartphone Making You Dumb?" It says, "Nowhere are the perils of technology more commonly overlooked than in the workplace. As I explained in a new book on the emerging science of workplace excellence to perform at our best, we require distraction-free periods," I repeat, distraction-free periods in which we can leverage our full uninterrupted attention. For many of us, these conditions are surprisingly difficult to come by, in part because of how we allow technology to interfere with our work. Consider what happens when a new message arrives in your inbox. Bloop. Unless you've changed the default settings on your email, you are now treated to a pop-up message, the sound of a bell. Ding, the counter of a signal. All of a sudden, you get these unread messages. Each time this happens, your brain is forced to make a series of decisions. Should I check my Facebook status? Should I read the email? Should I boop, boop, boop? And then you see, the point of the article is you end up having the cognitive decision, the critical thinking process, the critical thinking capacity of a third grader is what your mind, and there's studies that show this, your mind now begins to process the world on the same level as a third grader when you're interrupted on an average over 70 times a day. 70.
That's crazy. That's why you have to, one, get out your phone and turn off all push notifications.
Turn off those notifications.
Turn off every push notification. So therefore, the only things that will ding on your phone is a text message or a phone call.
But I want to know if someone sends me a LinkedIn message, it matters.
No, it does not. And then what you can do is set aside some time in the day to check all your emails, to check all your social media stuff that you want to do. But you're going to have to give something up. You know, Clay, I researched the other day, and we've talked about this several times on the show, and that is the average American.
Yep.
I'm talking American. Is watching 5 hours of TV a day.
That is true. It's sad. It's true. And Z, I want to give you an example of what happens if you're watching 5 hours of TV a day, or if you're letting social media impact you. So let me just pull it up real quick here. Here we are today so far on Facebook, and I'm just looking through the first little thing. I got to turn it off in just a second. I'm counting 12, and I got to scroll down. I've got about 45 unresponded to messages since this morning. And then on Messenger, it just will not stop. I mean, I don't even want to count the numbers up here. It's awful, Z. And you could just lose your mind. I mean, you're not paying attention. You're physically present, but you're mentally not. You end up becoming like an emotionally absent, mentally not present, physically present person. It's terrible what will happen if you keep those notifications on. It's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing, and I tell you what, society is changing in that. I was walking in a big city the other day. It was amazing how many people almost had tripped and fell because everybody has their head cocked at about a 45-degree angle looking at their phone while they're walking.
What?
And whether they're even walking.
I call it monkey brain.
There
was a lady the other day who was trying to check out in the line in front of me at Sprouts, who was on her phone trying to, I don't know, text, update social media, do an email or something. With one headphone in while trying to check out.
Yeah.
And it literally got to the point where I did not say something, but I almost did. What
were you going to say?
Well, I was just like, hey, could you focus and
Hustle
just
up,
check
Buttercup,
out here?
yeah.
Because she was, I'm not kidding. It was like the lady said, so do you want to pay credit card or whatever? She goes, credit card or
debit or cash.
Because she wasn't
check.
paying.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, do you want to pay credit card or debit card? And she's like, oh, what? Credit card or debit card or... yeah. And then she got another notification, and she looks down. There's a big line behind her. Because those lines go fast, and she wasn't mentally present. I'm sure she's a smart person, but frankly, her mind was not present on the tasks she was doing. Now we come back. We're going to talk about move number 4, which is quit sort of participating in a bunch of things and fully participate in fewer things. See, fully participate in fewer things. You want to fully participate in fewer things as opposed to just kind of sort of participating in a bunch of things. What does it mean to be all into something? What does it mean to be committed?
I don't know. That's just crazy talk.
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah. So here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months. Or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with. So.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. 1 month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Crockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours, where he does these tours all across the country, where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant, and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down, because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company, or navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See, it's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet. You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy with Tip Top Canine, and I'm the founder.
I'm Rachel Wimpy, and I am a co-founder.
So we've been running Tip Top for about the last 14 years, franchising for the last 3-4 years. So someone that'd be a good fit for Tip Top loves dogs, they're high energy, they want to be able to own their own job, but they don't want to worry about, that high failure rate. They want to do that like bowling with bumper lanes.
So you give us a call, reach out to us, we'll call you, and then we'll send you an FDD, look over that, read it, fall asleep to it, it's very boring, and then we'll book a discovery day, and you come and you can spend a day or two with us to make sure that you actually like it, make sure your training dogs is something that you want to do.
So an FDD is a franchise disclosure document. It's a federally regulated document that goes into all the nitty-gritty details of what the franchise agreement entails.
So who would be a good fit to buy a Tip Top Canine would be somebody who loves dogs, who wants to work with dogs all day as their profession. You'll make a lot of money, you'll have a lot of fun, it's very rewarding. And who would not be a good fit is a cat person.
So the upfront cost for Tip Top is $43,000. And a lot of people say they're generating doctor money, but on our disclosure, the numbers are anywhere from over $1 million a year in dog training, what our Oklahoma City location did last year, to 25, 35 grand a month.
To train and get trained by us for Tip Top Canine, to run your own Tip Top Canine, you would be with us for 6 weeks here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So we've been married for 7 years.
8 years.
8 years. So if you're watching this video, you're like, hey, maybe I want to be a dog trainer. Hey, that one sounds super amazing. go to our website, tiptopk9.com, click on the yellow franchising tab, fill out the form, and Rachel and I will give you a call. Our Oklahoma City location last year, they did over $1 million. He's been running that shop for 3 years. Before, he was a youth pastor with 0 sales experience, 0 dog training experience before he ever met with us.
So just call us, come spend a day with us, spend a couple days with us, make sure you like training dogs, and own your own business.
Well, the biggest reason to buy a Tip Top K9 is so you own your own job and you own your own future, and you don't hate your life. You get an enjoyable job that brings a lot of income but is really rewarding.
My name is Seth Flint, and I had originally heard about Tip Top K9 through my old pastors who I worked for. They trained their Great Pyrenees with Ryan and Tip Top K9. They did a phenomenal job and became really good friends with Ryan and Rachel. I was working at a local church, and it was a great experience. I ended up leaving there and working with Ryan and Tip Top K9. The biggest thing that I really enjoy about being self-employed is that I can create my own schedule. I have the ability to spend more time with my family, my wife and my daughter. So my very favorite thing about training dogs with Tip Top K9 is that I get to work with the people. Obviously, I love working with dogs, but it's just so rewarding to be able to train a dog that had serious issues, whether it's behavioral or whatever, and seeing a transformation, taking that dog home, and mom and dad are literally in tears because of how happy they are with the training. If somebody is interested, I'd say don't hesitate. Make sure you like dogs. Make sure that you enjoy working with people because we're not just dog trainers. We are customer service people that help dogs, and so definitely don't hesitate. Just come in and ask questions. Ask all the questions you have.